I'm back to talk about the Paperboy, and today I need you to have this book right here. It's the one that says Student Response up here. And in just a minute, you're going to go to page 8 right here. So there's an 8 at the bottom, and it says, draw a picture of the Paperboy. So you're going to want crayons or something like that and your book. And we're going to work with our reading comprehension activity like we talked about, of the skill of visualizing. And so with this story, Paperboy by Dave Pilkey, we're going to visualize what some parts of the Paperboy. So I want you to think about what happens in the Paperboy. And if you were in class, I'd have you share with your partner. So you can pause the video and go share with somebody and tell them about the story of the Paperboy, how the boy is sleeping as the newspapers are being delivered. And then you can tell them about how it's dark and he doesn't want to get out of the covers because it's so cold. And then he goes down the stairs, passes all the doors closed, and fixes something in a bowl. And then he goes to his garage to wrap up the newspapers and put them in a green rubber band and put them in his red bag. So you can stop the video and go tell somebody about that and then come back. Okay, some of you are back after sharing about the story. I'm going to read to you, and you can just do a sketch, okay? You can picture a part of the story. And so you can pause and listen to this over and over, the part that you want to do. But what you're going to do, and I'll remind you at the very end, whatever you draw here, I want you to write a sentence that explains that part of the story. So if you pick just the part where he's wrapping up the newspapers, then I want your sentence to tell me. And this is something that Mrs. Ager, Mrs. Heath, and I are going to grade. So we want your sentence to match your picture and for that to match what we are sharing with you. Okay? So that's your goal. So you don't have to color now. You can just listen again. In fact, it might be good if you close your eyes as I read the story again. The mornings of the Paperboy are still dark, and they are always cold, even in the summer. And on these cold mornings, the Paperboy's bed is still warm, and it's always hard to get out, even for his dog. But they do. And softly they step down the quiet hall, past the door where the Paperboy's father and mother are sleeping, past the door where his sister is asleep, and down to the kitchen where they eat from their bowls, and out to the garage where they quickly fold their papers, snapping on green rubber bands and placing them in a large red bag. It's hard to ride a bike when you're loaded down with newspapers, but the Paperboy has learned how to do this, and he's good at it. The Paperboy knows his route by heart, so he doesn't ever think about which house to pedal to. Instead, he's thinking about other things, big things and small things, and sometimes he's thinking about nothing at all. His dog, too, knows this route by heart. He knows which trees are for sniffing, he knows which bird baths are for drinking, and which squirrels are for chasing, and which cats are for growling out. And all the world is asleep except for the Paperboy and his dog. And this is the time when they are the happiest. But little by little, the world around them wakes up. The stars and the moon fade away, and the skies become orange and pink. And when the Paperboy has delivered his last newspaper, he and his dog race home. And his empty red bag flaps behind him in the cold morning air. Soon they're back home. It's still dark inside, but the sounds of the morning are all around. His father and mother are awake and talking softly in their beds. His sister's downstairs, watching Saturday morning cartoons. And back inside his own room, the Paperboy pulls down his shade and crawls back into bed, which is still warm. And while all the world is waking up, the Paperboy's going back to sleep, and his dog is sleeping too. Their work is done. And now is the time for dreaming. Okay. So you're going to take your page 8, draw that picture. You can add color there. And then again, down at the bottom, I want your sentence to tell me about the page or the part of the story that you drew. Explain your picture up here and show us some of the details that you heard. You don't have to do the whole beginning, middle, and end. You can pick just one part of the story. Okay, and do your best. When you upload it to show us, we're going to take a little note in our grade book to see how you did. So make sure we can see all of your work, and we're excited to see what you visualized. So good work. Thank you.